Welcome to the Why Not Us podcast.
Holy crap, we're back at it. Welcome to the Why Not Us podcast. We're in 2026, holy cow.
2026.
So we might have Houston here a little bit later. He is on his service duties for the military, and he may call in a little bit. But if he's not here, we'll miss him. But, I feel like we haven't talked in a long time. Chris,
yes.
Job change for Houston. My wife had a baby. I feel like life has just smacked us in the face, and it's kind of kept us from recording. But so we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to catch up on some football because the football season's officially ended, but we got a lot to talk about regarding coaches and players and sharing some thoughts about that. And then, boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of basketball to talk about. And
Amen, brother.
And how excited we are there. So,
yeah.
Looking forward to 2026. We're excited to get this podcast rolling again and get more consistent with it again. Life has settled down now with the new year. So we're extremely excited to get this rolling. But without further ado, let's talk some football, G. BYU football ended the 2025-2026 season with a win in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against Georgia Tech, capping off a 12-win season, correct?
So 12-2.
12-2. Heck of a season. And if you would have asked me going into this season with the unknowns that we had at quarterback, not knowing who Bear Bachmeier truly was, like we had our hopes, and I had some hot takes for him to start. We all had good feelings about him. But if you would have told me that we went 12-2 to end the season, I probably would have said that's pretty ambitious. But here we are. What's your thoughts?
Oh, man, what a great season. My thought is protein Pop-Tarts aren't too bad. I tried them. It's a deal. It's not too bad. No, 12 wins. I think that's the first time since it's been like 20 years since we've had a 12-win season. They just don't come around that often. Thought the football team played great. Probably the biggest disappointment through the whole bowl season in the playoffs was Texas Tech laying an egg against Oregon. That just made us look bad.
Oh, man.
That was
seem to catch a break there.
Smack in the face. But with that being said, it was an amazing season. Bear Bachmeier was awesome. We've got a great culture, great team. And, like we said, we're going to talk about it. We have our Jay Hill leaves and Gennaro Guilford leaves, and we have 0 players go with them to Michigan. They all stay, which just speaks volumes for the culture that Kalani has built there at BYU, because that's a consistent thing. He's and the guys want to be there. And I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Kelly Papinka's interview that they had on Sports Nation when he was talking about being the D coordinator, but his players, Therian Alexander, texting him within a few minutes, calling all the guys, 2 hours later, we're all staying. No one's leaving, coach. Right. I mean, that just kind of speaks to the culture and the great season we had. And their expectation is they're going to win the Big 12 next year and be in the playoffs. So, man, what a great year.
Yeah, and so for those who are living under a rock that happen to listen to this podcast and not know what's going on in BYU football, we had a kind of a crazy month in December regarding our coaches. So prior to the conference championship game, there was speculation that Kalani might leave. He was being heavily pursued by Penn State. And BYU Cougar Nation fought hard to keep him, and we kept him. And based on the interactions that the media has had with him, it sounded a lot like, okay, he went to battle to fight for the players and the coaches. It was a lot less about his personal salary that he was negotiating with BYU and Penn State, depending on which one was going to fit better. But he was doing it on behalf of his coaches and players to give them the best opportunities. BYU ends up retaining him. We go and get our butt kicked in the conference championship game, right?
Yep.
Then we go to the Pop-Tarts Bowl after some crazy controversy in the bowl and the college football playoff season. But we won't go into that. We definitely talked plenty of that in one of our podcasts. But then the question was Jay Hill. And
Yep.
and now prior to this game, and even during the game, a couple days after the game, after we won, the question is Jay Hill. And the reason that got brought up is because Utah parted ways with Kyle Whittingham, and Kyle Whittingham goes to Michigan, who has ties to both BYU and Utah.
Yep.
And he absolutely dissected the Utah program and took virtually the whole offensive staff with him, offensive coordinator, tight ends coach, wide receivers coach, and many others. And we anticipate some players following that move as well. But we knew BYU was going to be affected, namely Jay Hill. And ultimately, he was. Jay Hill did end up leaving to go coach at the University of Michigan and be a defensive coordinator there. So now, as a fan, we're all like, holy crap, who's going with him? Because that's the big concern, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Jay Hill was a huge part to play in our trajectory change and in going from, I think it was a 5-win season.
Yeah. His first year there, we were 5-7.
Yeah, we go from a 5-win season to an 11 and now a 12-win season. Just absolutely huge, and Jay Hill had a huge part to play in that. So we're sad to see him go, understanding why he's leaving, but obviously more concerned about, okay, crap, who's going to go with him? And you mentioned Guilford. Coach Guilford went with him, which is unfortunate, but we wish him the best. But what's incredible, Gene, you already mentioned this, is not a single player decided to go with him. I don't know how hard he tried to get these players. I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah.
But to have as good of a defensive coordinator as he was, leave, and on the next day or two, and even further, we're going to add Houston here. Sorry. Welcome, Houston.
Welcome.
Yo. What is going on?
Well, we're just talking the Jay Hill thing, and I just mentioned, Gordon mentioned as well, we're talking about how 0 players on our roster left to go with him, regardless of how hard he may or may not have tried. We don't know how hard he tried to take players with him. Not a single one left. And I think what for me, when it kind of hit me, I'm like, oh my gosh, no one's leaving. Because I saw like some linemen staying early on in some announcements. The second Isaiah Glasker, or I'll even say Satawala,
he was one of the first.
Yeah.
Satawala was like one of the first players.
Yeah. So I'll say when those two in particular made the announcement that they're staying, I was very colorful in my text to Houston. I will not say on air what I said to Houston, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. I could have bet money that Satawala was going to leave with him. Could have bet money on it.
Yeah.
But not a single one. And
not a single one.
Studs stayed. Why did they stay? Why are we staying based on what we've heard?
Houston, give us your thoughts, Houston.
Yeah, well, the first thing is, can you guys hear me okay, I guess?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
The first thing is that Kelly Papinga and Kalani, honestly. So we talked about this a little bit in the interview with Kelly Papinga on Sports Nation, but Trey Alexander, immediately upon hearing news about Jay Hill, called and texted the entire defense and said, Coach, we're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And Kelly alluded to this in his interview that, these players didn't come to play for Jay Hill. They came to play for Kalani and to play for BYU. So I think that right there answers the question of why did they stay? It's, they don't have their loyalties to the head coach and to the university and the program and people that believe in them. So that says, number one, a lot about the players, and number two, a lot about the program.
Yeah. So, all this that we've heard to talk about the culture, and it's a players-led program and all that stuff, just that solidified to me that that wasn't just smoke and mirrors. That is absolutely what it is. Mm-hmm. When you have the team stay together like that with a coaching change, that they believe in the program, they believe in the university, but they know it's a good place for them to be successful. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, holy cow, when everybody's coming back and the only starters we lose are seniors. Wow. And we've got Sione Pioha, I butchered his last name. Our D-line coach is now the associate head coach. Mm-hmm. DeMauro Demario Warren is our new cornerbacks coach. He was at Boise State. He was actually, I didn't realize he was the head coach down at Southern Utah for a while. So, man, the experienced guy, great recruiter. Kelly Papinga talked really highly of him. But again, it's like Kelly said, and Houston just said, it's not about the coaches, except for Kalani. They're here to play for Kalani, and they love the culture. And I'm stoked. I mean, I just, you Indiana, Houston and I had this conversation. I don't know, Jace, I don't know if we have. Indiana playing in the championship game, they've built their team just like BYU. Mm-hmm. They don't go out to the portal and grab 20, 30 players every year. They're going to pick a player here or there that we need, and we've got a couple already, but I don't think we're going to pick up that many more. But you build the program within, and the guys are loyal to you. That's Therian Alexander. He's all in. He's like, man, you took a chance on me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving here till I'm done. So,
well, and what's crazy? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I just do a mic check again real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound great.
You sound great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Jace.
No, I was just gonna say, like, in general, if you were to have a Power 4 team, we're not gonna use a logo. Power 4 team go 12-2. The odds of there being some coaching and player changes both ways, bringing and going, is pretty high. Mm-hmm. It's the price of winning, honestly.
Yep.
Is you get a lot of your coaches on national radar. They're going to be pursued by other people that need head coaches. It just happens. Look across college football, and there are more teams with coaching changes than there are that aren't. Yep. And so for us to do that, to go 12-2, only lose 2 coaches, from what I understand.
Yep.
Retain every single starter. Knock on wood. I don't think that we have lost a starter outside of what you mentioned. Seniors going to the draft. We've had some backup people, namely McKay Hillstead, leave, but we all know he's leaving because he knows he's not going to see the field.
Yep.
But to not lose a single starter and retain our entire roster, and in my opinion, not skip a beat on the defensive side where we did lose coaches, because we learned in that interview with Papinga, and what we've learned, I've listened to Ben Criddle a little bit as well, and people that have a little more insight than what we do, that, a lot of it was defense by committee. Like, Jay Hill was a mastermind, and I don't want to take anything away from how impactful he was, but especially when Jay Hill had some health problems, it was a defense by committee, and Kelly Papinga was a part of that. And so I think we're not going to skip a beat from what we're used to seeing on the defensive side of the ball. Plus, we're going to see some creativity, in my opinion, that stems from kind of the special stuff we saw on special teams. Yeah. Kelly Papinga changed our special team dynamic drastically, and I think he's going to do the same on defense. We're going to be better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And so the other thing I'll say is, I don't know if you guys have brought up Gary Anderson yet.
Nope. You just read my mind.
But
go ahead.
It sounds like, from everything I'm reading and hearing and listening to K-pop, is that Gary Anderson was the brains behind the whole operation, and it sounds like Utah's defense, which people have given praises for years, was a product of Gary Anderson as well. So it sounds like to me that the core and the main part of this defensive philosophy is still intact. Kelly mentioned he might sprinkle some Bronco in there. I don't know what that means. I hope that's not 3-3-5 drop 8, but that makes me a little nervous. But he did mention they're going to keep the base of the defense. So yeah, and in terms of everything you guys have said, we discussed Indiana a little bit, and just the formula that BYU has for the portal and for building the program. I just think that, we don't skip a beat. I'm right there with you. I just think we're in a position to be that much better next year. We've talked about this on, off camera, but the schedule we got next year, we're going to play Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I've said it on the pod. I don't know. I can't remember, but I've definitely said it to both of you plenty of times. I'm a pretty big proponent of thinking that the new standard is going to be BYU Tech in the Big 12 championship pretty consistently. It's going to be the new rivalry. We know that they're going to be there. They know we're going to be there. We're going to be prepping for each other. It's going to be the new big rivalry in the Big 12. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to keep up, especially with the coaching changes that have happened. Utah might. They're getting a lot of money from things, I guess, but they're rebuilding now. Their coaching staff was absolutely torn apart, so it's tough to predict where they're going to be. I think Morgan Scalley will do fine, but at the end of the day, it is going to be BYU and Tech, and for us to retain what we did, and namely LJ Martin coming back is huge.
That's huge.
Like that's massive. Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Bear Bachmeier, obviously, our stud freshman coming back, going to be that much more improved. And then, Carson Ryan leaves at the tight end position, and we get Walker Lyons from USC, who I think is going to fill his position and carry that torch really well. We lose Chase Roberts, and we pick up a pretty good stud from Oregon. Kyler, I think is his name.
Yep, Kyler
Kaiser. Didn't do a ton at Oregon, but had some pretty good highlight plays, and that's just the beginning. Like we haven't even seen, I think, the full result of the portal yet, but we've already filled kind of the positions in question. Papinga said that we need some depth in corners, but outside of that, we have the best corner duo in the country, in my opinion. And so like we're going to be really good next year.
And I just love our philosophy of not going out and just trying to buy a championship, raiding the portal, building from within. As Papinga said, they tell the recruits, we want you to be here. We want you to stay in our program. We're not going to go out in the portal. You're the future of our program. And that's why the guys are staying. I mean, so we go back to our 5-7 season, the first year in the Big 12 with that coaching staff. They brought in 30 players. And as to Papinga's words, he says, we brought in 30 players and we had a 5-7 season. We learned that that's not the way to do it, that you build from within. And to hear our coaches speak that highly of who we have, I'll be shocked if we sign more than 3 or 4 more players in the portal. Because I'm like, what do we need? We need the cornerbacks. So they already said that, a couple of cornerbacks. Never hurts to have more offensive or defensive linemen. So I wouldn't be shocked if we don't get a couple of those. But outside of that, we're in really good shape for a team next year. And we've got a lot of young guys. And then, the X factor is all these missionaries coming back. I don't, I haven't done any homework to know who's coming home, but, we know we're going to have some studs coming back off missions to fill in and play. And a lot of these young guys, I'm just so excited. Some of those young guys played at the end of the year and oh my gosh, they're going to be studs. Some of these sophomore and freshmen, we got a good core coming back. I love the philosophy and where we're at right now as a program.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we did pick up an offensive lineman this week. Cannot remember exactly the name on that, but
I saw a post on social media and I tried to find it again, but I couldn't. He was like a 6'5", 305-pound offensive lineman that came from, I can't remember where he came from, but yeah, I did see that. So those are great pickups. I mean, we need those. You got to have the offensive and defensive line. You can never have enough guys there, but man, exciting times with the football program. It's just
so let's do this to cap off, because again, this is the last we're going to be talking about football. We may have some updates in future weeks of just random, portal pickups or announcements, but outside of that, this is going to be the last that we talk about football until the start of football season next year. Let's do a little prediction for next year just to have it on record. So early predictions. We'll start with you, Hust. What's your predictions of our record next year and where we end up?
Yeah, I think we're going to go 12-0.
Yes,
kind of my first prediction there. With all due respect, and the respect needs to be given to Notre Dame, that's going to be a very tough game. But that is in Provo.
Yeah.
So, and then we play 7 games at home. Outside of the Notre Dame game, I don't see a team that should beat us at all. So I really genuinely mean that 11-1, 12-0. type season.
Playoffs, hopefully, unless they find another way to screw us over.
Yeah, and so I'd love to see us go 12-0, and I think that obviously guarantees us a playoff spot no matter what.
Right.
But it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm saying 11 games is the floor. I think we could go undefeated.
Right. What about you, G?
I love it. So, not to be a copycat here with Houston, but I and football happens and stuff happens, but if things stay status quo, I see us running the table. So the beautiful thing is with 7 home games, 6 of those are conference games. So that means we only have I take that back. 5 are conference. So we have 5 home conference games and 4 on the road for the 9. And our road conference games, the toughest ones up at Salt Lake. So I could see us running the table. I mean, that Notre Dame game, to win that at the first of the year, where it's in Provo, I just feel really good about that. I just think our odds of going, I'm just basically I'm going to echo what Houston's saying. I'd say 11-1, 12-0. And here's the thing with the football playoff: I will be absolutely shocked if there are not 16 teams in the college football playoff next year. There's no way, with all the controversy and all the crap that happened this year, that thing is not expanded to 16 teams. And the SEC better not get more than 3 or 4 teams in the 16. They had 5 this year, and they are gone.
Well, the commissioner wanted 7.
Yes.
After he watched every single team lose and drop out of the playoff, and they went 1-9 against other conferences in the postseason, and they need 7 in the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, the math is not math in here, buddy.
No.
The SEC, dude, the SEC is not – they're nothing right now.
No.
So I'm gonna copycat, and I'm gonna kind of dive in real quick because I know that we're talking a lot football, probably more than what we planned on. But just to quickly, in no particular order of when we play these people, here's who we've got on the schedule next year: Utah Tech, guaranteed win; Colorado State, guaranteed win; Arizona. I'll play devil's advocate and say okay because Fafita comes back, doesn't he? Or
I think he's a senior.
Okay, I'll put the caveat there that if Fafita comes back, then I won't say that's a guaranteed win, but a should win. If he's not coming back, it's a guaranteed win. Arizona State, guaranteed win. They're losing Sam Leavitt. Baylor, guaranteed win. Iowa State just lost their coach and their quarterback, guaranteed win. Cincinnati lost their quarterback, guaranteed win. Kansas, guaranteed win. TCU, guaranteed win. UCF, guaranteed win. Utah, I'm going to stamp it and say a guaranteed win. And Notre Dame is the one that I think we need to give the most respect to with what Houston said. But again, that's at home. And so I'm with you guys. I think we run the table. I think the schedule plays heavily in our favor. And the fact that we have the retention that we do going up against teams like multiple teams, Iowa, Cincinnati, Utah, that have had major blows to the core of their football team, whether it's a quarterback leaving or a head coach leaving. Like, we're just not experiencing that, and it is going to skyrocket us and project us to almost guaranteeing a conference championship. Even like the Notre Dame game, it is what it is. If we win, great. If we lose, it doesn't affect our conference standings. We're going to go and see Texas Tech in the conference title game.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the thing I'll say to that is, as you listed off every team on the schedule, notice that every single one you mentioned something, lost their starting quarterback, lost their head coach, lost their this and that. BYU is the only team on that list where we can say we added a 4-star tight end. We added a 4-star defensive, or offensive lineman. We added a 4-star wide receiver. You know what I mean? So
retained conference.
All of our we lost 2 coaches is all.
And retained the offensive player of the year, retained our stud quarterback. Yeah, I'm with you.
So I think that right there makes a difference. I mean, I'm not trying to put us up there with Indiana, but dude, given a couple more years of us continuing to do what we're doing, and we have a quarterback who gets seasoned, we're gonna be
watch out. What a time to be alive for football. Couldn't be more excited for football next year, and we're just finishing this year. So
yeah.
With that, we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit
Talk some hoops.
Yeah, let's talk some hoops because it is just as exciting, and we're just getting started. Conference play just started. BYU is now, was it 13 or 14-1?
15-1.
15-1, with the one loss being to UConn by 1 point after being down 20 at half. Hugh said this, and I'll say it too. If we have a rematch against UConn, we beat them by 30, in my opinion. It was early in the season. We were still figuring things out, but some namely wins. We've beaten North Carolina, blue blood team. We've beaten Wisconsin, who just took down number two, I think, or number one,
number two, Michigan. Yeah.
The other night, Clemson, not bad. Nebraska, we beat Nebraska or lost.
We lost to them by 1 point.
That was an exhibition game.
But yeah,
and
we didn't.
They're undefeated.
Undefeated and ranked
so.
Yep.
We just got done beating Utah last night in what I would consider too close of a game, considering the caliber of Utah, but it's the Holy War. You always expect emotions and craziness to happen. For whatever reason, we couldn't hit a free throw to save our life. But man, fun times in college hoops for BYU. Houston, what's your thoughts so far on the season?
Yeah, and give us a lowdown of the atmosphere at the arena last night.
Oh yeah, Houston was freaking there last night.
Yeah, so that's what I'll give you a couple. So my overall for the season, I said this. Sorry, can you hear all the airport crap?
Oh, it's not too bad.
But it's not a big deal.
Okay, sorry.
You're good.
I'll have to excuse the audio today. I'm at the airport, but anyway, so my overall assessment is I was skeptical early on in the season. I made that clear. And I made it clear early on in the podcast that I didn't know how we were going to gel as a team. And I will say that they have figured it out. And I'm so impressed with AJ. So impressed with Rob that, they're calling him the triple combination, So, overall just couldn't be more happy with the season. Jay's kind of laid out the marquee wins that we've already had. As far as last night goes, I texted this to the group last night. I honestly, I've been to some rivalry games. I've been to quite a few. I've been to some intense games. I don't know that I've been to a Holy War sporting event that was more intense than last night. I mean, from the moment people came into the arena, you could just feel the heaviness in the air and the intensity. Like, literally, you could cut the tension with a knife. And I say that because Land of the Free, Home of the Brave didn't even get finished, and the Utah student section is shouting F BYU, F BYU, with the full expletive inserted there.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how the tone got started, and I will give credit to Utah now. Credit, and I'm gonna give them some crap because they showed out last night. I have never seen a crowd like that before, ever, at a Utah basketball game. So to their credit, they put on a great show. The crowd was incredible while they were there. However, it's not Utah fans; it's BYU haters.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come to watch Utah; they come to watch BYU and hate on them.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the atmosphere last night was crazy. I would say, dude, I'm telling you, the first 4 or 5 buckets of the game, it just rose. The intensity and the noise level just got louder and louder and louder. Utah starts with a 9-0 run. The place is going insane, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But I know you guys watched the game. I don't know if you heard it on the radio broadcast or if you're watching the ESPN broadcast, but the BYU crowd was equally as loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Kava had a dunk or AJ had a alley-oop, they were just as loud. So I'll give a couple more things and I'll shut up and let you guys talk. But just a couple of funny things, Morgan Scally comes out at halftime to talk to the crowd and talked about the new coaches and the football team. And in the middle of his speech, the "Let's Go Cougars" rings out throughout the arena, drowning him out. You couldn't hear him.
I did see in a clip he went to the student section to try to get them fired up. Was that to combat what he was hearing?
That's exactly what it was. Exactly what it was. And so, frankly, that's embarrassing. This is your home arena, and you let this many opposing fans fill your seats and drown you out, frankly. But yeah, anyway, I know I've been talking in circles about that, but What a freaking atmosphere, dude. What an
Oh,
atmosphere.
Yeah, speaking of talking in circles, what was the do-say-do going on with the people out on the court?
Dude, I don't know. All I can say is that BYU's product at sporting events is 50, 100 times better than anything the University of Utah can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can say that for football too. Rice Eccles,
Yes.
like it was okay. Like it was loud. Obviously, the game that I attended last year was great, but it was nothing special.
Yeah, no, it's just during the entertainment stuff was and so once again I'm on a Utah rant right now, but they can't cheer their own team, so they come out at halftime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or not at during halftime they have some little skit where they have a guy blindfolded and he's doing some jump rope to see how many he can jump, right? Well, they come out and they bring a Ute fan, and I say this because it looked like a bit. They put a BYU hat on him and they blindfold him and get the jump rope going, and then they all leave him in the middle of the floor while he's jumping around like an idiot by himself with the BYU hat on. They literally have nothing to cheer for.
Right.
It's all about how can we
hate on BYU.
Spite BYU. How can we hate on BYU? It's never let's go Utah. It's F BYU. Kennard Davis gets on the floor. It's DUI. And yeah, sorry, I'll shut up and let you guys go.
No, I mean that's awesome. I love hearing all that. And here's the deal with all that, and I appreciate that is, and before we started this, Houston, Jason, I told Jace, I said the quote of the day is there are not Utah fans, there are only BYU haters, and that is a fact. They just, their production reminds me of the Ryrie Bulldogs and the North Fremont Huskies playing basketball, and you got to do some stupid crap at halftime. I mean, that's about the level of their production they got there. But anyway, Utah played a great game last night. We still beat them. We still got the best trio in college basketball by far, 15-1. I am just so excited about our team and what we're doing. I mean, those guys are averaging AJ Ritchie and Rob are averaging over, I think, 65 points a game. That's what they're averaging right now. And they had 20, 23, and 24 last night. For 67, Richie Saunders,
and Richie had 14 rebounds.
Yeah. Geez.
The one thing, sorry, I know I got a ton to say. It's been a while since we had a podcast, so I got a lot on my mind. But the other thing is, dude, so McHenry and I can't remember the other guard, number 2 for Utah. Dude, they couldn't miss. I mean, it's another one of those scenarios where they played the game of their lives. They're on like a 5-game losing streak. They're like 8-7. And they play in this game, and it's like the NBA Finals. It's like Game 7 of the Finals, and they go out and they can't miss. They had 2 turnovers in the first half.
Right.
They haven't done that all season. And on top of this, and sorry, let you guys go after this, but their only attempt to stop us is to literally triple team AJ.
Mm-hmm.
So this won't. When they come to Provo, we'll win 110-60.
Yeah, and to Gordon's point, I mean, we're setting some pretty substantial records. I don't want to misquote it, but we have a current record in place for our top 3 having consecutive or multiple 20-plus point per player. So each player on the top 3 or big 3 has 20 points, and I think it's an NCAA record. I don't know for how long or if it's kind of just the first that this has happened. But we're setting records for that. AJ is setting records for the most consecutive 20-plus points game by a true freshman in the past 30, 40, 50 years. I don't know what it is. We're the highest scoring top 3, or our big 3 is the highest scoring big 3 in NCAA right now. There's probably 4 of our 5 starters that are NBA caliber players as of right now. And could go NBA at the end of the year. And we're 15-1 with nothing but light at the end of the tunnel, in my opinion. Like, we are looking so good. And to highlight again what we've already mentioned, Wisconsin goes and beats Michigan. We beat Wisconsin by like 30 points. Michigan and Duke have been on my personal radar as kind of the only teams that I feared, as far as just they're really, really good basketball teams. Duke and Michigan are playing some really good hoops. And so for Duke or for Michigan to show that they are human and get their first loss to a team that we absolutely obliterated gives me some hope. I still think, and I'll say it every time we have this podcast, we are going to win the national championship with this basketball team.
Well, it could happen. So, the kind of the cool thing is Kevin Young has talked. He was, and Houston brought this to my attention on his coaches show. There's people out there that still don't want to say that AJ DeBonsa is the number 1 draft pick next year. And those that don't think he's the number 1 haven't watched him play. They keep throwing Cameron Boozer out there ahead of him. But so Kevin Young, circling back to what he said, he says, what AJ's doing with 2 other all-stars on the team is just amazing, because Cam Boozer doesn't have 2 other players in the starting 5. Like, he doesn't have his Rob Wright and his Richie Saunders. Mm-hmm. So for him to do what he's doing and average that amount of points with 2 other people that average almost 20 points a game just shows you what a great player AJ is and what a team player he is. Cameron Boozer has to score 25 points or they don't win. Right. AJ doesn't have to score 25 points. We've got guys out there that can help him out. So that's what makes me excited is the team. And I love the fire from Keba Keita last night. Mm-hmm. Holy cow, that was fun to see him yell off. Kevin Young addressed it in the press conference about when he got his 3rd foul. And he says, Keba is the most quiet person on this whole earth. That is the loudest I've ever heard him yell at me, called me off to leave him in. He says, Beto looks at him and says, so am I in or am I out, coach? And Kevin Young says, go sit back down. Keita's staying in.
And he was impactful. You always want to be very careful as a player to do that, because if you go and commit a foul after waving your coach off, you look like a moron, and you're going to be doing up downs till you're puking at practice. But he waved his coach off, said, "Let me stay in," and he was impactful for the next, what was it, 8 minutes or whatever that he was in the game.
Yeah, until he picked up that 4th foul. Then he came in and was a monster. He wanted to be in that game and win. I mean, because he played at Utah. I mean, which not everybody knows that, but we do. But yeah, he wanted to win that game just as bad as Richie Saunders and anybody else. So
and you pointed out Richie in his tenure at BYU has not won at the Huntsman Center. Yeah, and so this was his first win there. He wanted it bad. Would have loved to have seen him hit some more free throws. We've seen him miss more free throws than we have all year. But what a win!
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this, in regard to the missed free throws and stuff, always shoulda, coulda, woulda. But if we make 4 or 5 more free throws, and Richie doesn't brick a couple of threes, I mean, we're that close to scoring 100 points on these guys and winning by 20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the rivalry game, and kudos to Utah for showing up and playing. I mean, it's the Holy War is intense. I mean, it was intense. It's the environment was insane. Like AJ said in the post game, like I can attest to it, dude. It was absolutely nuts. Like, I don't know that I've been to a basketball game even that's been that loud from every single dribble, every single score. It was intense. So great win for BYU.
Yeah, huge win for us. Some notable games coming up. So we've got TCU coming on the 14th. So that's on Wednesday. That should be a win for us, but TCU is not a terrible team. Then it gets kind of crazy for us. Then we go and play at number 14, Texas Tech. And then Utah comes to BYU. Then we play the number 1 team in the country currently, Arizona. Then we play Kansas, Oklahoma State, Houston, who's number 7 in the country. We've got a gauntlet of a schedule, and it is about to be some really good hoops to watch. Very good hoops to watch.
And the thing is with TCU took Michigan down to the wire. So I know TCU, Arizona kind of took care of them here on Saturday, but they came back within 14 points at the end. But I think at one point, Arizona was up like 25 points on them. But gosh, it's the Big 12. You just cannot take any team for granted. You got to be up. I mean, we just crush Arizona State. They turn around their next game and they beat Kansas State by 3.
Right.
So, it's just fun.
That is
Well,
what makes basketball fun.
yes, well, yeah. It seemed anybody could beat anybody on any night. You know, it's a little bit more even than the football is sometimes. But um, yeah, the Big 12 play. So just what I wanted to say was talking about Michigan losing to Wisconsin, and TCU playing Michigan well, and some of these other games that big teams have had and lost or been close. It just goes to show, kind of like how we talked about in football, when we win a game, any win is a good win, whether
Yeah.
it's by 35 or whether it's by 5 against Utah. It's tough to win every game, and it's tough to win every game when you have the most popular and the most watched player in the NCAA, potentially in the American world of basketball, in AJ DeBonsa, and
Mhm.
and you have a triple team coming every single time he touches the ball,
Yeah.
and he still scored 20 points last night. I
Right.
mean, it's just, yeah, it's anyway. So tough game. Any wins are good wins. Teams are going to start keying on AJ, and if they do, then Richie's going to shoot better. Rob is always consistent, and all it takes is for one of these guys, whether that's Mihailo or Maras or Kostic or whoever it is that comes in. Kennard Davis actually is probably number one on that list. All
Yeah.
it takes is Kennard Davis going 6 for 8 from 3 in a game, and they're all of a sudden going to have to guard everyone. They
Yeah.
can't triple team AJ.
And
The
he's
one,
totally capable of doing that, by the way. Like that's kind of
yes,
the beauty
yes.
of our team is Kennard Davis is more than capable of doing that.
Yeah.
The one X's and O's question I did have was defensively. I'm a little curious why we didn't play more man down the stretch against Utah. I mean, they parked it in the corners and were just hitting threes on the baseline for most of the game. We ran a 2-3. We kind of switched to like a 1-2-2 or a 3-2 type setup. I don't know, just interesting defensive game plan, I guess. I don't know what you guys saw that direction, but
My
Well,
thought with that is what's the main point guard's name? I forget him on Utah.
Brown, was it Brown?
So yeah, he can play, and I would argue that that's why is because he is good enough to just go and create his own shot off of a screen. I think a lot of our zone was just to eliminate that.
And I think a lot of times it looked like zone, but it was man because we were switching everything up top. I think that was one of the adjustments they made. The one thing that I was super cool, I thought, was that last possession or two, we went to the straight zone, and Utah did not expect it, and they didn't even get a shot off. They were
Such good coaching.
such good coaching. I mean, Kevin Young is such a good coach.
Yep.
But the other thing Kevin Young brought up, and Houston kind of alluded to this, and Jace, you did too. But we do have a target on our backs, and Kevin Young said, our guys need to realize that when you're ranked like this, and you have one of the best players in the country and two others that are all stars, people are going to gun and they're going to give you their best shot because they want to be the team that says, "Look, we just knocked off AJ DeBonsa, Richie Saunders, Rob Wright, number 9 BYU. We're the team that did that." And so that's why we got Utah's best shot. And I'm going to think we're going to get everybody's best shot moving forward. We're going to have to be focused.
dude, and the Utah fans were desperate to beat AJ. Desperate. I mean, if he even flinched the wrong direction, dude, they were all over him. Like, they were just desperate to see him go down. And so to see us win, I think I mentioned to you guys in the text messages, there was early on in the first half, AJ came out the first time, and he was standing up, chirping at the student section who was right next to the BYU bench.
I love it so much.
Just giving him an earful. So
on the win
yeah.
cam afterwards, AJ goes like this and then breaks it with his knee. And like, dude, I love that he's part of that, man, because that's gonna be ingrained in him forever. He's gonna go create records upon records in the NBA and be his own all-star. But hopefully he'll have that as a permanent memory in his brain that he beat Utah at their home court and hopefully beat them again on our place, because that's pretty special.
It is. And, the thing that I like to see from him, his improvement in this game. So early on, they were doubling and tripling immediately. In the second half, he did such a good job. As soon as he saw that double team guy break towards him, he immediately drove to the basket. Rather than waiting for the double team to trap him and then try to find a guy,
He was like, okay, you're going to bring 2 guys to me. I'm going straight to the hoop. He scored multiple times. He found open guys because he wasn't trapped in the corner. And that's something that if he can continue to do, because teams are going to double him. I mean, and the crazy thing is he's that good. You have to double him. If he takes a one-on-one and he's anywhere inside the 3-point line, he will get to the elbow, he'll get to the baseline, and he'll hit a jumper over you. And you cannot defend it. You have to double team him. So to see him kind of work through that and learn how he can take advantage of that double team coming on him is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yep, no doubt. And Houston brought it up a little earlier, but something that I just wanted to real briefly touch on is our bench play. What we're doing with our bench play, where you have Dawson Baker out for the season. It was I got his name right here somewhere. The other point guard that's out for the season that we never got to play, that came from UC Riverside, Pickett, I believe is his name. What we're doing with down those 2 spots with the bench play, I'm excited about that too, because I think our bench is getting a little more consistent coming in there. And Beto was a huge addition to us, but Mihailo has been playing great ball. Bob plays great ball. I mean, we got some guys coming off the bench that they're balling out for us, and some guys that didn't even see the floor that I think are playing pretty good, like Dominade. I think he's a baller, but he didn't even get to see the floor. But anyway, I think our bench is coming, and I think that's going to be huge.
Well, and it's tough to rotate in. I mean, you're so deep. Like, it's kind of the same problem we had last year. It's like, who do you put on the court?
Right.
So the other thing I was going to say with that is, we don't see a drop off too bad too when Rob's out of the game.
No.
So normally, sometimes you feel like, oh, we got our backups in. We got to get through the time to get our guys, our first team guys, a blow. And get some rest. But AJ and Kennard and whoever's got to take the point when Rob is out have done an excellent job. I don't see a drop off at all.
No. I'd like to see a little more production and consistency from Russ in particular.
Yeah.
He has shown some signs of being very, very good for us if he can hit the 3. But I don't know if the stat still stands. Has he attempted a 2-point shot yet?
Yeah, he made one.
Yeah, he made one.
Did he? Okay, so he has attempted a 2-point shot, so we can't use that against him anymore. But he just seems very timid with the ball. He committed a turnover against Utah that was very just, he got the ball, didn't have the 3-point shot available, and wanted to just get rid of it quickly. I'd love to see a little more consistency and confidence from him. Because if not, then get somebody else in who can help shoot. I get we want to have a 3-point shot open. I understand that, but I would rather see somebody who can be a little bit better defensively, drive the ball, create some shots. Like, I would rather see Mihailo in more than Maras, in my opinion. But what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, no, I think I would agree with that. The hard part is Maras is Kyle Korver. He can't come off the dribble. He's an okay defender, and he's just a 3-point shooter. So defensively, you see number 2 come in the game, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna park it next to him on the 3-point line and not let him get a shot. And the hard part for Kevin is that, like, you can't surround your offense or make your offense surround Maras. You can't set 3 back screens to get Maras open for a 3. Because you got Rob Wright and Richie and AJ that are going to score. So he is at a disadvantage in that regard. They can't really run the offense through him, and so outside of that, he's just, like you mentioned, he's just kind of a liability unless you're going to Kyle Korver him and put three screens to get him open.
Yeah.
Right. Well, to highlight the bench too, I think this translates into how big of a dynasty we're building too, because the bench in particular is extremely young. We're dealing with sophomores, freshmen. Boop, he's a freshman. I don't know how many years of eligibility Diamande has. You got Xavion, who's a freshman.
Diamande's a redshirt freshman. So.
He's a freshman. So, I mean, we're just really young and really good. And Houston and I were talking about this on the phone, and what I think we're witnessing before our eyes is the beginning of a blue blood dynasty in hoops. As long as this stays. I obviously if coaches leave or whatever, that can shamble things up a little bit. But you look at a program like Duke, and they have the 1 years still where they get the one player like Zion Williamson or Cooper Flagg. These are dynasty building players that come in for 1 year, leave, or maybe 2 years. We're experiencing that for the first time ever at BYU. Like Jimmer went, I guess not ever. I guess Yegor was kind of the first one that came he was only here for a year, I believe, with us, and then left. And kudos to him. He's killing it in the NBA right now. But we have that marquee player in AJ, and it is just going to set us up, in my opinion, for years of success. Yes, we're going to miss him, and we're going to wish AJ great when this season is done. But I think the effect that this year is going to have on BYU basketball is going to be bigger than we realize. We are going to see nothing but really good basketball for years to come at BYU. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree. In Houston, I talked about this the other day. I enjoy AJ. Not only is he a one and done, but he's a generational type player. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have another AJ DeBonsa at BYU, maybe ever. And if you do, it's going to be years down the road. So enjoy this season, enjoy every game that you get to watch him play. And then you see that kind of stuff happen. And like Yegor Dioman, got to say his last name right, since he had us mispronounce it all last year wrong. But look what he's doing in the NBA. I mean, that's a stepping stone right there. What player is not going to want to come play for Kevin Young? Because he's already put Yegor in the league. He's going to put AJ in the league, and Richie Saunders is going to go in the league. And I hope Rob Wright comes back for one more year. But you start putting guys in the NBA that are playing, future players coming to BYU, you're going to get some studs. So, I agree with you.
Well, and we're in a scenario right now where there's not a lot of players coming straight out of college that are going into the NBA and making that big of an impact. Most of the players that are making an impact in the league have, made their way up. They played at a G League. They've been at a team for a few years. You have someone like Yegor come out who is just balling right now, and AJ's going to do incredible as soon as he gets into the league, and hopefully Richie will. I mean, we're starting to talk about we're competing with Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, you name it. Up there in terms of the NBA talent that's getting put out. And like, just reiterating what you guys have said, it's just going to build. Like when AJ gets wind of Kevin Young at BYU and his first phone call is to Kevin Durant. Hey, what do you know about Kevin Young? And Kevin Durant says, you need to go play for Kevin Young. What do you think that phone call looks like for that next number one recruit who calls AJ DeBonsa, all-star of the league, whatever, all this stuff, or calls Yegor Demon and says, hey, what do you think? What about BYU? They're going to say, yeah, you need to play for KY.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I said as long as it stays there, as long as we keep that unit of coaching with us, I anticipate him being a lifelonger, and I think BYU will definitely pay for it because he's made a huge impact for us. And so, yeah, couldn't be more excited for the future of BYU hoops. And as bad as I'm going to go down this road. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to, but as bad as it sounds, it is nothing but pure irony to be having the years that we are and seeing the coach that left the way he did go to Kentucky and struggle the way he is. And that is like, it's poetry in my brain. It really is. Like I did have a bitter departure with Mark Pope, just because Gordon and I were talking about this before the podcast started. Me and Gordon agree, and Houston is kind of, just based on the conversations I've had with him, kind of leaning this way, but kind of also a little bitter just because how dare you leave BYU. But Jay Hill, we're wishing him nothing but the best, and I think it is because of how he left. He left to go pursue a great opportunity for himself, but nobody went with him. And again, I don't know how hard he tried. He might have tried, and if he did, then that's when I'm pissed off at him. But Mark Pope leaves BYU, takes our number one recruit with him, tries to take some staff with him, tries to take some players, and our basketball program essentially dissolved and we got insanely lucky with Kevin Young coming in and building what he did. So yeah, poetry in motion, in my opinion. And to see Mark Pope struggling, that man's going through the ringer right now in Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah, no ill will, but I hope Kentucky continues to lose every game. And I'm the odd man out. I'm the odd man out here. I wish nothing but losses and warm pillows for Kyle Whittingham and Jay Hill. Good riddance. Because if you're not on board, then good riddance, dude. Just don't come in here and talk to me about dynasty and program and culture and all this stuff, and you leave when the first freaking thing comes knocking at the door. So good riddance. And especially with all the players that are staying and the coaches that have been loyal and they're there because they believe in the culture and the program, all the better for us.
Right.
I hope Michigan is 0-12 next year.
They're going to be pretty dang good, man. I don't know.
So sorry, one little caveat. We have the starting Michigan quarterback visiting BYU this week.
I saw that.
We need to keep an eye on that. So
that would be insane, actually. I did not see that.
Yeah.
Not there. So it's the starter that got hurt, right? And then was out for the guy that finished the season and is staying at Michigan?
Yeah, correct.
Got it. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
Very.
Yeah. Good
just
times.
Just the fact that he's even visiting BYU is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, fellas, it was good to kind of recap again. We missed a couple weeks. Houston, congrats. We talked before you got on. Life hit us both a little bit in the face. You got a new job opportunity, and you've been working on that. Congrats on the new job. That's super exciting. And safe travels back from this weekend, and we appreciate everything that you do. And then this is going to be more consistent. We're excited about 2026. We're excited about the college basketball season. We're approaching February. February and March is some of the best basketball of the year. And man, we've got some fun podcasts ahead.
Yeah.
So if you like just being here and listening with us, please give us a follow, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. And we're going to be sending more podcasts weekly every week from here on out for the foreseeable future. So what's your departing words, G?
My departing words, I mean, it's going to be fun. There's a couple games that I'm interested. I don't know that I'll watch. I'm that interested. Is UCF for real in the conference? It'll be interesting to see how they play this week. Got a couple tough games, but I just think I just can't be more excited about our BYU basketball team. It is what Kevin Young's doing and the players we got. It's just every game's fun. Being in the Big 12 is fun. We're in the best basketball conference in the freaking country. All of our teams ranked. We have 4 or 5 teams ranked. 4 of us in the top 10 or something like that. It's fun times. I just love it. I don't know. What's your thoughts, Hughes?
Yeah, just echo all that. It couldn't be a better time to be a BYU fan. And, I'll just say briefly, Jason and I talked, and it's a little bit bittersweet because we go from what we've gone through for my entire life to potentially seeing the best BYU basketball team we might ever see for the rest of our lives. It's a little bit bittersweet to see it come so quick, off of the coattails of Mark Pope leaving, and then all of a sudden we jump straight to the peak. And we're going to have some good teams in the future, but AJ Devonta is, time will tell, and time will be the testament of how good he is. But just super excited. I think we're going to, just as far as podcast business goes, hopefully have some new segments for basketball season we can bring in and make it a little more fun, break things up. We'll probably visit some pick'ems when it comes to Big 12 basketball and things like that. So look forward to it.
Yeah. Houston, I mentioned this, and I'll reiterate it. We deserve this. We have gone through years of turmoil in football, waiting for moments like this. We've experienced some highs in basketball that came crippling down. The Jimmer year was incredible, but the way it ended was heartbreaking. And so we deserve this. And I couldn't be more excited to be a BYU fan right now.
Amen, brother.
What a time we live in. And so with that said, go Cougs. Appreciate you guys being here. We're excited for 2026. We'll catch you on the next one. As always, go Cougars.
Cougs.
Go Cougs, baby.